All right, so the new data type we're going to learn is called a dictionary. So we're learning dictionaries. A dictionary appears to be somewhat of a odd data type. It doesn't work the way most people think it works, but eventually you can figure out what's going on. A dictionary is a single named object, the dictionary, and in that object you have key value pairs. As I mentioned in the first week, this is one of the reasons why Python became popular, because this data type matches up to a popular NoSQL type of data called a key value database. So a dictionary works out to be really a good connection between the key value database and the programming language. Now, the dictionary is something that it's a single dictionary. So if you're doing a dictionary about a person, it'll be a single dictionary all about a person. Or you could do a dictionary about, say, the final exam and then have all the scores for the final exam with key value pairs of the person and the final exam. Now, you officially could do some sort of deal with, think about if you want to do all the grades for everybody in a course, but you would have to get a bit complex, and we'll get to that today, hint at that today, but it gets even more complex later. So let's take a look. If you look at week 3a.py, you'll see that you make a dictionary similar to how you make a list. You name it, you do the equal sign, but instead of the square brackets, you use the curly brackets to make a dictionary. Then you give the key value and then a colon. So the key name, it has the value Fred inside it. The key quiz 1 has the value 35 inside it. The key quiz 2 has the value 50. The key exam has 99, and the final grade has A. So the dictionary student has the key value name and Fred. Now here's where you start to think, oh, this is just like a relational database. Well, this student is Fred. This dictionary is about Fred. If I put name equals Wilma, then name no longer is Fred, it's Wilma. I can't put a whole new set of data about Wilma in there. And that's where it starts to get a bit confusing, because it sort of looks like a relational database table, but it's not. All right, so then I'll print out the dictionary, and then I will print out just the from student final grade, and the student final grade will be the A. Then I'll have an input which will wait, and then I will update. I will add a new key value pair. So if you look, we have quiz 3, which isn't up here yet. I have that value equals 10, and then I'll print the whole dictionary out. So if we run that, you can see that is the dictionary originally printed out. And then we just do the final grade printed out. And then if we wait and I hit enter, you can see now quiz 3 has been added. So that's how you work with dictionaries. The syntax is not all that difficult. This gets a little bit messy, but it's not all that difficult. The problem comes with the conceptual issue. So let's look at week 3b, and we'll have a little bit more information. So again, I can have the same dictionary up here, but I also make a blank dictionary. So just as we were working with making a blank list and then appending items, we can add key value pairs to a blank dictionary. You saw how we added a key value pair of quiz 3. It's the same way. So we have a blank dictionary called rooms. Rooms key value building is Wheatley. Rooms key value number is 119. Rooms capacity equals 28. Then I print rooms, and then I wait. So as you can see, I've added those in, and I've printed them out then. Now, if we try and add a value, a key that's already there, it actually just replaces the value. So number is already in there. You can see it set at 119, but now I've changed it with line 13, and you can see that it's changed from 119 to 116. Now, when I talked about you could do all about one thing or all about information about one thing, we could do it if we all about quiz 1. So here I make a dictionary quiz 1, and then I have Fred's score, Wilma's score, Barney's score, and Betty's score. And then I can print that out. And so then we have different values about the same thing for different people, but we couldn't do more than one quiz in this dictionary. So it's a bit confusing. Now, if we wanted to see a particular quiz, we just ask for the key, but don't give a new value, and it will print out. So we can get Fred's score there, and he got a 90 on it. We can also put a variable in there, so we can look up a particular value. So if we look up Wilma's score, you can see that Wilma got a 92. So it doesn't have to be hard-coded in. You can put a variable in there as well. And of course, we can loop through a dictionary, and instead of doing it, we do name, comma, score, and quiz.item, and you will see that is the key and the value. And let's go, we get enter there, and you can see we get the key and the value. So the name is the key and the score is the value. And if we do quiz 1, which is the name of the dictionary, and then dot items, which is the reserved word to give both the key and the dictionary. So that gives us another more interesting way of working with dictionaries, but it gets better. All right, so we can work with the values inside the dictionary. So here we have a quiz 1 dictionary, the same one we were working with, but now I'm going to use the for loop again, go through all the items, and I'm going to print their name and their score, but I'm also going to keep track of the total score and the total number of items in the dictionary, so I can calculate the average score on quiz 1 as well. So that's starting to give you a feel for why dictionaries can be very useful, because you can actually gather information about the whole dictionary as well as pulling out different pieces of information. If we look at quiz 3D, you can start seeing that instead of grabbing both the key and the value, we can look at just the keys, or we can look at just the values in the for loop. So same thing, we have quiz 1 with all the names, and so for name in quiz 1 dot keys, that will just give us the keys. It will not do any of the values. And if we do quiz 1 dot values, we get the values but not the keys. And as you can see, we can still use the name inside of the for loop, the key value, to get the key to get the value based on the key. So even though the for loop isn't pulling it out automatically, we can still get it if we have the key. Does that make sense? All right, let's look at the last one. The last one starts to get crazy. This is where I said you could actually sort of start saving information about multiple people. You can have a key value, and it says value for a reason. That value can be any standard data type in Python, which includes lists. So you could say, instead of saying quiz 1 and say Fred and then a quiz grade, we could say grades and have quiz and then have the whole list be all of Fred and then have all of Fred's grades. So we can make all the dictionaries and then make a list of dictionaries as well. And so we do that, and you can see we have a list of dictionaries. We can also save, as I said, you can save lists as the key value in dictionaries. And I think that's about it. We can actually do dictionaries and dictionaries and dictionaries and dictionaries that have lists in them, and dictionaries and dictionaries that have dictionaries and lists in them, and lists of dictionaries that have dictionaries and lists inside of them. You can combine this all together and get really confused really quickly. So we'll stop it here, and we'll continue to use dictionaries as we move forward.